Hey everybody, this is Ian Withrow. Today we're going to be looking at the barbell bench press. So to begin, you're going to place your back on the bench, and in this angle I want to talk about hand placement and unracking. Wherever you put your hand, you can go close grip, wide grip, whatever feels comfortable, and it's going to vary depending on your frame and build and your goals. Whatever you do, make sure it's symmetrical and the same on each side. Take a nice deep breath. You want to try to keep your knuckles pointed toward the ceiling. You don't want to have broken wrist. You want to have a nice, strong wrist. Take a nice deep breath, unrack, and then pull it out of the rack. You're going to bring it out, and you're going to let it settle. Don't immediately drop it down to your chest. I really want you to bring it out, let it settle for a second. Exhale if you need, and then begin by taking another deep breath. Taking a deep breath will keep you safe, keep you making sure that you are staying tight. It'll also raise up your chest a little bit, which is going to make the lift a little bit easier. You have a little bit less of a distance to travel, and that'll help with the barbell when it gets heavier weight or more reps. Notice how the individual here brings it right down to her sternum. That's where we want to kind of shoot for, right below the chest, right below the little nips, and bring it right down to the sternum, right in that sweet spot right there. Let it touch. Depending on your goal, depending on your sport, you might have it pause for a second, but make sure you're not bouncing it. Make sure it's not bouncing into your chest, but you can have a tap and go. That's perfectly fine. And then notice how the individual brings the elbows in as he goes into the eccentric portion, and as he moves into the concentric portion, he's almost screwing his elbows out, so he's flaring them out as he finishes at the top. He's not flaring them out at the bottom. That's very important to take note of. When you finish, rack it just the same way as you did before. Make sure you don't drop it on your head. We're going to be looking at a different angle in a moment. We're going to be looking at the foot placement, and I'm going to be talking to you about getting your back situated. You can notice here in this angle he has a slight arch in his lower back, and that's going to vary depending on what sport you're in, but you do want a slight curve in your back. You still do want a slight arch. If it's too exaggerated, you are going to put some stress there and risk injury, but if it's too flat, you're not going to be able to initiate what they call a leg drive. So here we go with the foot placement. Now you can bring them back real far, but no matter where you put them, make sure you want to try to keep your heels on the ground. So he unracks the weight, just like what we talked about before. Takes a nice deep breath. The chest elevates up. As he comes down, touches the chest, I want you to initiate with the quads, squeeze the glutes, and almost imagine pushing your heels through the ground, pushing your legs through the ground. So you really want to get your legs involved. The bench press is not just a chest exercise, not just a tricep exercise, but a full body exercise. That is very important to take note of. And notice how the shoulders are, you want to try to tuck those shoulders together and squeeze them together, and almost imagine tucking them in your back pocket when you're on the bench. You don't want them, you don't want your body rounded over, and you don't want them off the bench. Here we go with the full speed version. He's cranking out a couple reps here. Then he racks it. Notice how he's driving off the chest with explosive force. That's what we want to look for. And this is how you barbell bench press. Hopefully you can utilize this in your training. This is Ian Withrow. We'll see you guys next time.